from the cost of quality, it is an appraisal cost. So we are spending to maintain the quality of the product is the appraisal cost. So what is that appraisal cost? Appraisal cost, we can say it is inspection cost. Mr. Quality check. Yes, we have the QC. One second. What we have QC department, that is a quality control. Now, what is that quality control? There are inspects. There is an inspection of the product that we are producing. Okay, just like any manufacturing, just like a chemical industries, they always see the product which we get. It is as per the properties of we check the properties of that product. If it is a liquid, then on the basis of what is the component in it, what will be the the viscosity, density, and all other parts are is match up with that one or not. Just like for example, you are producing the lubricant oil. Now in the quality control cell, what happened? In quality control cell, that they check as per the viscosity of the oil. They check the quality of it. After that one, they check what is the density, what is the flash point of they are checking this one, because that product have a, because we are using that the oil as a lubricating one, and according to that the properties we check in the quality cell. Okay, so here we can say defective products. Okay, so we can spend the amount on the inspection of the inspection of that product. Okay, so we say that the defect to incur to identify the defective products before they are shipped to the customer. So what we do, we do the cross check. First we try to prevent the defect. Then in the next one, when we are producing the product, that time we check the quality randomly. We are not check all the items. If you are producing the thousands of unit per day and you are not checking all these, but yes, randomly you choose it, you just select it, and you just want to check the things in a quality control. Okay, all costs which is associated with the activities that are performed during the manufacturing process to ensure the required quality standards are also included in this category. Okay, so with the help of example, as I said, the lubricating oil, if you are producing, then we are checking the quality of it by checking the properties of the lubricating oil. So as per our the data, does it match or not? Okay, so identification of defective products involved. So in this case, we can identify the things. Okay, and if there is certain defects, then we can just overcome that part. Just like in another example that I would like to say, that the automobile. In the automobile sector or in the mechanical sectors, we have a lathe machine that we use, and they are producing some product, the unit. Okay, and always they check what is the diameter, what is the thickness, and all the time they are using the vernier scale. They just check it. Is it any defective product that you get from the lathe machine? Because ultimately, if there is a small 1 mm gap or 1 mm just to reduce or increase, it will not fit to that component in another one. Okay, so this is very important to check the quality. It may be very costly for some organization. Now this is very important, because as we are working on the quality, ultimately we need to set a lab. We need an instrument, because when you are checking the what is the quality of the lubricating oil, we need to have a lab. There is an instrument for checking the density, checking the viscosity, checking the flash point, checking the fire point, all this one. Why? Because we want certain machine, the instrument, so that we can check it. Okay, we want the GC, all this one. What these are the instrument that is used for knowing the components properties. Fine. So here we see the different examples that is for appraisal cost, and that are test and inspection of incoming material. So we are spending costing. We are spending the money on the test and the inspection. We spend the money on the final product testing and inspection, supplies used in the testing and inspection, supervision of the testing and inspection. Okay, so these are the certain what we call the component where we are spending the amount, and that we include in the appraisal cost, in the cost of quality. Okay, depreciation of the test of equipment, that is also there, because when we are using the instrument or equipments, there is a depreciation value, and all this comes under the appraisal cost. Maintenance of the test equipment, plant utilities in the inspection area, field testing and appraisal at a customer site. Okay, for example, you may see one advertisement for the milk where they give the test kit with that product, and they say that you can check your what is the fat in that milk. So ultimately what is, they are giving a toolkit to the customers, and for that one they are spending the amount. They are not only sell the product, but in a free of cost they give the toolkit, and in that toolkit they check what is the fat value of the milk. So they are spending the amount for making that toolkit. Okay, so this is the that all this costing comes under the appraisal cost. Okay, the next is the internal failure cost. Now, what do you mean by internal failure cost, and what are the examples of the internal failure cost? Okay, so we see the prevention cost, appraisal cost, and now the internal failure cost. What do you mean by internal failure cost? So internal failure costs are those costs that are incurred to remove the defects from the products before shipping them to the customers. So it is the cost that we have to incur to remove the defects. So many times, say for example, in a quality sale, you found that this is the defective product. Now you need to work on it. So for that case, again, we have to work extra, give the extra work for it, extra time and extra costing on it, and that is called internal failure cost. That the costing that comes under the internal failure cost. For example, in the internal failures, we can say that the costs include of rework, cost of rework, rejected products, and the scrap material. So just like a rework means, for example, if you are making one component of material on the lathe machine, with the lathe machine, and you found the diameter that you want for that job, it is say around, say the 10 centimeter, and by default 10 centimeter is the required diameter, but unfortunately the worker, he work, it is give the 10.1 diameter. Ultimately what happened, when the quality cell check, they found that it is an extra diameter is there, so they have to work on it. Okay, if some product has the lower diameter, in that case it is a scrap material, but you are not totally throughout that the job, you need to again is it utilized to another case. So in a certain job it may require the less diameter, so can I work for it? So that product we need to just send it to that department where we can have another work on it. So reworking of jobs or the products which is rejected products, many times it is rejected by not by the QC but by the customer too. Okay, so all this one that it is included in the internal failure. So for example, if you see the process of it, that is the inputs. Okay, there is a manufacturing is happening, and then it is to be for the inspection. Okay, just like a quality control cell where we have inspected that part, and then after the inspection you found some product get defectives, we need to again just to resend it to the manufacturing process. Okay, and some of the product may be scrapped, it is not possible, that is to rework on it, and the product which is not defective, a good product can be delivered. Okay, so after this one, when there is a certain problems that comes under the defectives one, the internal failure cost is needed, means need to rework again, or some of the material we is totally lost, we got a zero profit from it, zero, because it is a scrap material. So this one and this one that comes under the internal failures one. Okay, Examples of the internal failure costs are net cost of scrap, net cost of the spoilage. So what is the costing that the material is scrap? Means here we need to include the cost of the material which we used. We need to include the cost of the timing, the worker who gave the 8 hours for making a job, and after that one it is found that it is a scrap material. So 8 hours we are giving the wages for the 8 hours, that is to be there. The machinery which we are using the energy, the depreciation of it, all this comes under this internal failure cost. And many times we need to have work on it, and we need to just add these costs in the quality one, so that we will get what is the net profit that we get from the selling of the product, and from the organization, from the industry, or from the product. Okay, net cost of spoilage, that one. Rework, labor and overhead, as I said. Re-inspection of rework product. Now, as we say that in our previous diagram, we manufacture the product, we inspect the product, and when we found the defect, we again resend to the manufacturing one unit, and from the manufacturing one again we need to check it, and closely we need to check it, because already there is a defect that happened. So it is a re-inspection and rework product on which we are spending the amount. Disposal of the defective product. Now the many times we say, okay, it is a scrap one, we need to throw out. It is not easy to throw the things, so there is a transportation cost. Or the another company, when the scrap material that they buy, or if you want to dump it, then again you need to extra costing of it, labor cost, transportation cost, and many other costs that is needed. Okay, so we call it is a disposal of defective product, and that comes under the internal failure cost. Downtime caused by the quality problems. This is another things that is to be included in the internal failure. Analysis of the cause of the defect in the production. Now when you found there is a continuously the defective product that you get from the manufacturing, we need to have analyze, and for that one we use the extra resources, the human resources. We use the tools and some technologies, some techniques to just to find out what is the defect. So ultimately we are spending the amount. Just like, for example, if one of the factory which is situated in a Ratnagiri, and your headquarter is in Mumbai, and that the unit which you are established in Ratnagiri, that time you found there is a defective product, continuously they come out. Now the expert team come here to the that spot, and they find out what is the solution. So obviously when you are send a team of 2 people to that another site, you have spend amount on them these 2 people. It is from the hoteling to the traveling and the others, the as they are working in the headquarters, but just because of the some problem that is arises, and they come to the here. So maybe they found they take a time of 7 days for just finding the defective product. So the costing that you the cost the money that you spend on them is to be included in the internal failure cost. Okay, so analysis of the cost defect in a production. Retesting of the rework products is again the comes under it. Re-entering data because of the keying. Okay, this is another things that the product which you get is to be reworked and again re-entering. So ultimately what we are just utilizing our human resources, we are utilizing the equipments, we are utilizing the energy. All this comes under this one. Okay. External failure cost, quickly I just go for the external failure cost. It is if a defective product have been shipped to customer, external failure cost is arise. Now all this process if we have until you are sending a defective piece and it is to ship to the customer, and when there is the disputes or when the complaints arise from the customer, that is the external failures, and that is very costlier compared to the others too, because in that case you need to have the shipping one thing, and there will be the chances of the brand get just to the brand name is not just because of this the defective product, you have facing the quality of your brand. Okay, the external failure costs include the warranties, replacement, lost sales because of the bad reputation, payment of for the damages arising from the uses of the defective product, etc. That comes under the external failures. It means especially there is a bad reputation of your company, brand name. It get have just because of sending a the bad quality product. Definitely the people or the customer is not accept from the brand which you have. Okay, the reputation of the brand. The shipment of the defective product can be dissatisfied customer, damage good will, and reduce the sales and profit. Because of that one, what happened? The people are telling the mouth publicity of your product that they have sending a defective products. And if the person got 2 3 times the same thing, then definitely your reputation goes down. Okay, so this is called external, and in for that external failures, it's very difficult, because ultimately if the reputation goes down, definitely your sale goes down, and ultimately the profit that you get, it will not. For example, the cost of field servicing and handling complaints. You need a customer care service to, for this case, warranty, repairs and replacement cost. So if you have the defective piece that you sell in a market, just like a mobile phone which having the 1 year warranty, and you found within the 3 months you have the defect or the problem, now there is a replacement policy, so they have to replace. Ultimately they spend the extra money, means two time one customer get two products with the same cost. Ultimately it is the impact on the benefit of it. Liability arising from the defective products, lost sales arising because of the reputation of the poor quality, returns and allowances arising from the quality problems, product recalls, repair and replacement behind the warranty period. Okay, many times if your product, though it is behind the warranty, but if you found that is the defect by just because of your company, so ultimately we have to repair that part. Okay, fine. So this is that we talk about the cost of quality. So we learn in this lecture the prevention cost. What are the things that is to be included in the prevention cost? The appraisal cost. What is the appraisal cost? Okay, and what are the things that is included in the appraisal cost? The internal and the external failure cost. Okay, what are the internal failure costs, and that is to be spent, and what are the external failure costs? Okay, so that comes under the cost of quality. Another part from this one, and that is the last topic from this module, and that one is the cost of quality. That is the hidden cost. What do you mean by hidden cost, and what is the trade-off between the quality and the cost? Okay, so these two things that is remaining from this module, and that we will cover in a next class.